display and touchscreen solutions company called You have to forgive me, I'm using something called Prezi, so if you get a little bit seasick, you might have to look away. I wasn't aware that I could control it, so I'm going to have to keep giving Rob some cues. So, cue Rob. So I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and kind of our experiences with the use of digital media in the built environment, and that kind of primarily focuses around digital ways showing how a user might experience and navigate around a particular space or a particular building. Also looking at the idea of how these spaces and places can share data to kind of improve that user journey. So I'll start by talking through a couple of case studies that are sort of work in progress at the moment, followed by some possibilities that I'm exploring. So yeah, the first one is a project called the Golden Square in Birmingham's Jewellery Quarter. It's a new public space that's being developed just outside the Big Peg, and we were commissioned as digital media partners to look at how we can integrate digital media within this space and create what we're calling a digital visitor centre. So I've just got through a few concepts, as I say, works in progress, so I'll talk through where we've got, so just move it. So what we're exploring here is a user interface for touchscreen points at the Golden Square. So we're primarily focusing around finding points of interest, so basic way showing, but then also kind of exploring. We've got sort of time to explore, take a tour of the area. So if we move that, looking at sort of finding points of interest. So the idea is you can just sort of browse through places to explore, so sort of categorise places and then highlight places, and they'll pop up on the map. So you get this kind of, you get this idea of where a place is, and then if you click view more on a particular space, you get this next page that essentially aggregates. Aggregates content about this place, so any sort of history and heritage-based information, images from Flickr, any events that happen at this particular place. And the idea of this is we're calling it kind of a geo-wiki platform. So the idea is people can add content to a particular point, but also really sort of special to the Jewellery Quarter is there's a lot of history and heritage and a lot of family-run businesses, and the idea is they can create their own points on a map and upload any sort of old historical and heritage information they've got, so sort of old family trees, old imagery of what the building used to look like before 100 years ago. So the idea is it's a platform that can grow and really encourage the community in the Jewellery Quarter to upload content. So next we have the idea of touring around. So something we're exploring is this, there's something called the 12 stages of making a diamond ring in the Jewellery Quarter. So we're looking at mapping different points where the user can navigate around the Jewellery Quarter and learn a lot more about each point, so a kind of educational way of exploring a particular process. So you can either explore this on the touchscreen or take the tour on your mobile device. There was a point earlier about iPhone applications, and although the whole team of Substrakt have iPhones, we're not wedded to using the iPhone. It's a web-based platform, so we can use it on multiple devices. But the idea is here, you kind of, as you guide around, it uses GPS to track where you are, and it loads particular content about that process, or whichever tour you're exploring. You can kind of load more content as you go around. If you go to the next screen, there's the idea that we can start to allow people to comment and upload their own thoughts on that process, and then we were exploring QR codes here. So if you go to the next one, Rob, there's as I said, there's a lot of history and heritage in the Jewellery Quarter. So the idea is we create these kind of interactive treasure hunts where people can navigate around and scanning QR codes through this application to possibly release new data. So the idea is you get a clue, you find it, you release a new data, a new clue that takes you to the next point. So that's kind of the work we're exploring in the Jewellery Quarter. So go next, please. So based on what we're doing there, we've come up with this idea that the data we're capturing here can really allow people to kind of explore spaces and places based on this data. So the next case study, as I say, sort of consistent user experience. So once they've gone to that place, they want to go somewhere else within the city. You don't want to lose that experience they've already had. So going on to the Library of Birmingham, we're exploring some ideas with the Library of Birmingham that kind of follows on from the work in the Jewellery Quarter. So the user journey I'm illustrating here is about if you come from the Jewellery Quarter, or if you've been exploring the Jewellery Quarter, you might then pick up the library app that tells you about certain resources that are in the library. It could tell you about certain events that are happening at the rep based in the Jewellery Quarter. Based on the subject of jewellery. So yeah, the idea is you can leave the Jewellery Quarter and use the application to navigate towards the library, and along the way, the application starts to know what subjects you're interested in exploring. So if it was jewellery, you might walk past, it knows where you're coming from because it's the way showing application. So you walk past the museum and it might say there's a particular exhibition on jewellery in the museum. And then we get the opportunity here for sort of sustainability. So as you're navigating the city, you start to get recommended possible places to stop or possible, as I say, places to visit. So again, the idea is that then it seamlessly picks you up into the library and knows you've come to explore a particular resource or a particular subject. So something that's sort of we're exploring with the library is this way-showing app that works independently in the library, but it also kind of works with data sets throughout the city. So as you come into the building, it helps guide you to what you're looking for. So sort of step-by-step navigation and kind of map there. So again, this kind of idea of touring, you might know where you want to go, but you might want to explore a particular subject. So similar to QR codes, there's an application that allows you to scan the barcode of books. So I like the idea of using this for sort of exploring reading lists. So a university lecturer might want their students to explore a particular subject, so they can kind of program a reading list that allows them to not only explore the resources in the library, but maybe some elements about the city. And allowing them to scan the barcode is kind of, I guess, proof that the students have read the book, or at least scan the barcode in. But it's kind of that interactiveness that makes exploring a subject a bit more engaging, a bit more fun. And this is just a kind of a bit more of a personal touch, working with the library management system to allow the users to rate books and share their thoughts on particular resources. That kind of allows people to kind of network with people who are interested in similar subjects. So yeah, just this idea that if an application starts to understand what you're interested in, it can help guide you to other people with similar interests. So the concept's kind of called space surfing, and kind of referring to the web, sort of surfing the web. The idea is when you're exploring a subject, you sort of get carried away, you find a link, you click on another link, then it takes you off. And we're starting to look into how this works in a space. So you don't want to be sort of guided, you want to sort of find your own way, but the idea is it recommends you and it kind of guides you based on the way you're using it. And what we're exploring here is kind of creating essentially a Google Analytics for a city or a space or a place. So as people are using their applications, we start to understand by using GPS how they navigate a particular space, how they navigate a particular building, and by that, as you use sort of Google Analytics for the web, you analyse how a website's used. You might move different elements from the home page, you might remove pages, you might change pages. So that's the idea that this application can maybe inform design for sort of public spaces and public buildings based on how people are already using it. So that's that concept. And the key here is profiling. As we start to understand what people are interested in, what subjects are interested in, how they want to navigate a city, we start to collect this data, which essentially can be shared between applications to really improve experience and allow a user to navigate based on their interests. So the question here is, how would you like to explore a new city based on your own preferences and interests? So I personally like the idea of an application knowing roughly what I'm interested in, the sort of bars, restaurants I go to, the sort of events I go to. So if I went to a new city in the UK or anywhere over the world, we can share this data with a new city, and then it kind of guides you so you miss all the stuff that you're not interested in. And it's not that it's go here, it's kind of you might be interested in going here and exploring this sort of these places. So just moving on, sort of more sort of hardware-based, how would we actually explore these spaces? So we've got touch systems. This is the work we're doing in the Jewellery Quarter using what's called touch foil systems, but these are coming on in leaps and bounds. So the idea is they can be installed in sort of outdoors in any sort of place, and the technology there is coming on. So for people without mobile devices, they can access this content here. And then next we've got mobile devices. As I said before, you can't be wedded to a particular device. The idea is the data, the data is the important bit, and where the data is hosted, and then that can be pulled onto various devices. But we're exploring here sort of augmented reality, an application called Layer that aggregates augmented reality data. So as you explore a city, it starts to pull in the data that's attached to that particular space or place. And the idea is that the more we learn about how we use and navigate the city, the more relevant this